What's up guys, Show 3x4 here, bringing you another vlog. Today might be a long one, and I've got a lot of catching up to do for everyone who's new, who's been here. This is information for everyone that's watching the channel. You're gonna wanna stay up to date with the channel and everything. The reason I haven't made a video in like the past 15, 16 days is because my wife and I had COVID. We're both fine, we're both over it now. I'm going back to work tomorrow. She's already back to work, everything's good, but I wasn't able to do anything for the past 14 days, 15 days. I kind of thought of this video. I was gonna give you guys an update on this car, but I kind of thought of it during COVID. Why not just give an update on every single vehicle on the channel? That'd be the perfect thing to do to catch everyone up to date, and that way everyone's up to speed on what's going on. So where do I start? Basically, I'm gonna go into detail not only about the cars. The cars also are affected by what me and my wife have to do. We're moving in the next 2 weeks or so. We're actually moving, so I'm not gonna name any names, but basically we have to move out of this spot to the other spot, so that we're in a duplex. We gotta move to the other side just for about a year, because the other people had a tragic event happen to them and they need this side for a year. So we're gonna swap, and then the year coming after that, we're gonna swap back. So I'll have this garage back and everything. But basically, like I said, I wanna do an update on every single vehicle on the channel so you guys are caught up to speed. And the first one that I'm always gonna do on every single garage update, the one that a lot of people ask for or wanna know updates on, is the show right here. So this, if you're not familiar, is my 1997 Ford Taurus SHO, hence my name, Show Off 3.4. It's got a 3.4 liter V8 in it. 4 years ago when I started making this channel, this is kind of the name I came up with, and it kind of stuck because, you know, I'm never gonna get rid of this car, so why not? This started the channel, so why not base my name off of it? Like I said, it's a 3.4 liter V8. It only came in this generation for 4 years, and that was it. So this is the only car this motor ever came in, which also makes it a pain in the butt to modify and find parts for and everything like that. The backstory in this car is, this was my first car. My dad brought it home for an extra car before I could even drive, and I kind of just took it over when I could drive because I was the most interested in it, because it was a V8 and I was a car guy. And I didn't even know about this car as a kid, and a lot of people still don't. So this car's pretty rare. It's not very special, it's not fast or anything, but it is rare, and I think it's very unique, and I did want to keep it for that reason. But also, the 16, 17, 18-year-old me did get to this car. I didn't treat it very nice when I was a kid, and knowing now that I want to keep it for forever made it a pain in the butt from what I did to it as a kid. So basically the story with this is, I drove it from my first car, and I did some modifications to it. You know, it's got no mufflers, the cat's gone, I lowered it, it's on lowering springs, and I did a little bit of stuff here and there. And basically the car, the problems got overwhelming and I couldn't keep driving it. And the plan is to restore it. And I said I'm just gonna do it all at once. I'm not gonna mess with anything here and there, try and keep it on the road. I'm gonna do it all at once. So basically where I'm at now with this car now, my wife 3 years ago bought me another show for a parts car. The body wasn't in good shape, but the motor and trans only had 80,000 miles on it. So I took the motor and trans and subframe out of that car, scrapped that car, and now I have 2 transmissions, 2 motors, and 2 subframes. Everything in this car is at 180,000. This transmission is junk in this one. Here's the subframe I already got done from the other one that I'm obviously gonna put in the white car. We just sandblasted it and painted it. This is my transmission from the other car that's already been gutted. The parts are at my buddy's house that we're rebuilding it, which I am going to get working on this very soon. So this is the rebuilt transmission I'm gonna have. And then, some of you may or may not know, I took my other show motor, I took it all apart, and I was gonna rebuild it myself, but I didn't realize how scarce parts were. So when I went to go rebuild it myself, I couldn't find any parts for it. I called a guy named Doug. He runs Ford Performance Specialists in Atlanta, Georgia. Called him up. He said pretty much your only option is to give it to me so that I can rebuild it. And at the time, I figured it was a good idea. Get it done, call it good. That was about a year, that was over a year ago. I put the motor in the back of my girlfriend, at the time, my girlfriend's Impala, and we drove it down to Atlanta. Basically, that motor is going to be finished here in March. I'm going on a family vacation with my family in March to Tennessee, and I will just swing down to Atlanta around that time and grab the motor. The motor, he said it will be done by March. So I'll have the motor, I'll have the transmission, and I'll have the subframe all done. The next thing with this car, it's rusty. If you didn't see my video on tearing the interior out of the car, it's rusty. Very rusty. My thought was, okay, while it's sitting in this garage for a couple of years, because we want to save this house for 3 or 4 years, tear it apart, gut it, and we can put some body panels on it. That was until I have to move. So that's kind of why this car is at a standstill. Not only because honestly my heart right now and what I want to do is buy a fast car and go faster and put my money into this, which I'll get into that later. I want to go fast right now, and this car is not for that. I'm just restoring this car to stock. So I'm never going to sell this car, but that's where my want is right now, is to put the money into the truck to go faster, and I buy a car to go faster. So that's kind of why this is sitting. And not only that, I can't do anything with it. I don't want to take it apart and have to move a million pieces of a car when I can just move one, and it will start, it'll run. It's a lot easier to move when it's not gutted, because I'm going to keep moving and moving and moving. So that's kind of where I'm at with this car. Motor will be done in March. I'll be bringing it home. We can actually put the whole front end together, and maybe I'll even swap it so that I can drive it. But actually I probably won't, because I do want to have all of this gone so I can work on the engine bay, the rusty parts of the engine bay. So that's where this car's at. It's at a standstill, but something little is always going to be happening with it. It's not like it's going to be fully stopped all the time. It needs a lot of work. And like I said, my heart is in racing right now, and I want to get more into it. And this car is just not for that. But I do still want to get this done very bad. So progress will always be being made on this car. It's just not going to be fast progress, if that makes sense. But don't think I'm ever stopping on it or giving up on it. That's not the case. It's just like I said, when I'm moving, I can't have this thing gutted, and moving a shell and motor parts and all this stuff is just way too much of a pain. So I'm hoping next year we move back into this garage, I'll have the motor and everything done already. Hopefully I can start gutting this car and putting panels on it. And in the meantime, I might find a very good shell car and pull like floor pans out of it and pull strut towers out of it and all that kind of stuff. So we'll see. Keep asking questions about this car. If you have any questions about the car, ask. It's just kind of hard to put my money into it right now when that's not where I want my money to go right now. So that's the deal with the show. All right, guys. So that was hopefully the longest car I got to talk about here. The next vehicle to talk about is my 2012 Ram 1500. I'll show you some clips of what I'm doing with this thing. Basically, this is a almost full bolt-on Ram 1500 right now. I got Cook's long tube headers, catless Y-pipe, MBRP exhaust. It's leveled. It won't be leveled for long, but it is leveled on 33-inch Duratrax. Intake, catch can, 180-degree thermostat, clutch fan delete, power stop, drilled and slotted rotors, and calipers and pads. That's pretty much about it. Oh, it's also on a 93 Green Racing tune. I do drag race this. It went 14.4 at 95. Was the fastest it went, which at that time it wasn't. I had a pretty bad exhaust leak. My header bolts were backing out, and so it didn't run its best. I feel like it could have ran a 14.2 or something like that. And hopefully when I put a throttle body on it, I'll never know. The future plans with this truck is to cam it here in the winter. I'll show you what I got already. I just picked up a Circle D 3600 stall converter for the truck. I'll be installing that once I get tranny lines, and I'm gonna get some gauge pods so I can monitor trans temp and AFR and stuff like that. And I'm gonna do all that at once. I'm not going to cam this or put the stall in it until my van is done, which I'll tell you guys about that in a little bit. But yeah, basically this is my daily, and my the truck I race. It's not very fast. I want to lower it. It's gonna get lowered, and hopefully be a 12-second truck. That'd be perfect for what I want to do. So that's the plan for this. Full bolt-on with cam and converter, lowered, hopefully 12-second truck. We'll see. All right, the next like 7 vehicles I tell you about I don't have in front of me because they're kind of scattered all across the mid-Michigan here with my friends' vehicles. So the next vehicle I want to talk about, actually the next vehicle I want to talk about is my van I just bought. I just bought a 2006 Chevy Express van. Okay guys, so this is my new whip. Yep.
Sounds great.
It's a 2006 Chevy Express van, 3500, 2-wheel drive, 6-liter, 4L80. Well, not really a 4L80 right now, but I picked it up for 500 bucks. It was my old work van. That's gonna be my new full-time daily, because the truck it's still gonna be a daily, and I'm still gonna drive in the winter, but I'm not going to drive it in the horrible, snowy, salty conditions if I don't have to. This can sit a little more, and I can also, like, I can put a converter in this, and I can pull the trans, and I can do a bunch of gauge installs and training lines and stuff like that, and the cam install, and this truck can be down for a couple days, and I can have something to drive. So I bought a express van to daily drive. It was my old work van. That has a blown transmission, and I just actually bought, it's sitting right over here, I just bought a tranny rebuild kit for it. It's got a 4L80. That should be, I was gonna hopefully do that like in these last 2 weeks, but because I had COVID, I couldn't go anywhere. So I couldn't go to my friend's house to rebuild the trans, but I do have the tranny rebuild kit for that. The trans is pulled, we pulled the trans already. So hopefully I can get this trans rebuilt and done, and that van can be on the road. That thing is gonna be pretty simple. Rebuild the trans, put a muffler on it, make it sound good. It might need a cam, like a, I'm not gonna put a stock cam in it, but it's not gonna be a big cam because it does have lifter tick pretty bad. It's got 320,000 miles on it. Other than that, put some nice wheels on it or something and just drive it. That's pretty much all it's gonna be. It is actually gonna be the new tow vehicle, hence why I'm not putting a converter in this until that van is on the road for good, because I'm not gonna be able to tow with this when I have a big high stall converter and cam, and it's just not gonna be practical and when it's lowered. So the van is what I'm gonna tow with, like when I gotta tow this or whatever I gotta tow. That's what I'm gonna use. The next vehicle that I own, which I don't actually own anymore, and I wanted to give you guys an update on this, is the beater. The beater is officially gone. I wasn't really doing anything with it. Pretty much all I was gonna do is blow it up for a video, and the old owner asked for it back. He said he kind of wanted it back, and it had some sentimental value to him and his friends, and they actually took it back and are putting money into it as we speak. Like I said, I wasn't gonna do anything with it, and besides blow it up, so I figured if somebody else wants it, they can have it. So I did sell the beater. The beater is gone now. We did have a lot of good memories and fun time in that car. All right, so finally, what you guys have been waiting for, in the title of this video, we're cutting the muffler off.
All right, let go, dude. Watch. This is the only way I can get it shut. Didn't do it.
You just gotta like, you just gotta.
I literally did that.
Dude, it's literally lighter than my bed.
It won't go down.
Dude, I almost catapulted off there. What the frick? That's way better. All right.
Love this backup beeper. Oh! Jay killed it on camera, and this is going in the vlog. There's no doubt about that, folks.
Oh, look at that. Something's falling off.
bought it for like 150 bucks and just literally bought it to do what you wanted to do to a car as a kid that you can never do. Just anything you wanted to do to beat the crap out of it. We shot it with BB guns. We pretty much mud bogged the thing. We beat the crap out of it, redlined it every gear, dumped the clutch every gear. It was a lot of fun. But the car is gone. It's still running, but the car is gone now. The fifth car is my wife's car. My wife's got a 2008 Impala SS. That we have done. We only took the mufflers off and she put a set of wheels on. I'll show you these wheels she put on. They are 2018 Chevy Malibu, I don't know, maybe LTZ wheels. You can get them on a couple different packages, but they're like chrome. So somebody sprayed them with chrome, or I don't know how any of that stuff works, but they put a chrome overlay on top of the wheels. I think they look phenomenal. They're 18s. They're a little wider. They're 18 by 8, and I think the stock wheels are 6.5. They're at least an inch or an inch and a half wider than stock. They give the car a lot better look and stance, and she loves them. That's pretty much all we're doing with that car. Plans with it, she doesn't really have too many plans with it. She might lower it here because it does look like a freaking monster truck, and the rear struts are starting to make some noise actually. So lowering it might be the next thing she does, but other than that, she doesn't really have too many plans with it. For her daily driver, it's a fun car. I love those cars. I know they're front wheel drive and they're not anything special, but I think they're pretty cool cars, not gonna lie. We took the DOD off of it, so it never goes into DOD anymore, and it still gets cruising down the highway, all 8 cylinders, like 25 miles a gallon. It's an awesome car. I like them. So that's all that is a daily, and no big plans with that. The next car, actually the next truck on the list, all the rest of the vehicles are trucks. The next one on the list is Ryan's 2011 Chevy Silverado. So he bought this after he had the accident with the Trailblazer. If you guys were here about a year ago, less than a year ago, he had a Trailblazer SS that he was about to put a bunch of money into, and he was on a snowy road and lost control of it. It swung around and went into a ditch, and he totaled it. Because that's gone, he bought this 2011 Silverado. Done a little bit of work to it so far. Put a Stainless Works catback exhaust on it. Put some Method 20-inch, I think they're 20 by 9 Method wheels on them. They're bronze, with the AT3s, Open Countries, with a Fox leveling kit in the front. It's got a cold air inductions, cold air intake on it, and a 93 tune from Faster Proms. I think that's it, and a thermostat, like a 180 thermostat. That's all he's got done to it now. He did take it to the track. This was pre-tuned and ran a 16.3. He does run E2, he's got an E-tune on it, so I'm sure now if he took it to the track, he'd run mid-15s easy. Plans for that, he's ordered headers for it. So long tube Stainless Works headers are on the way. They're being built. They should be here around Christmas. And that'll be a true dual setup with Stainless Works headers and a Stainless Works catback, no cats. And then he ordered a cam, stage 2 Texas Speed. He's not gonna run a converter, and pretty much other than that, stereo, stuff like that. It's gonna be a mild build street truck type of deal. Nothing too crazy, but still pretty fun and pretty fast for a mild street truck. That's the plan for that. The next vehicle is Rex's S10. I recently just brought this back. So back in August of 18, I did a video on his truck, and it's the second most video still viewed on this channel today. And a lot of people were asking where that truck was. Is it coming back to the channel? It has came back to the channel in the past couple months. We have done some, I've recorded some street racing with it. We've gone to the track. We've gone to Port Puddle, which is a street race style in Milan. Basically the setup with that truck is it's a 6-liter LQ9 T56 trans. He's got a faceplated trans for it, but that's down right now. Actually his other trans is down because it's stuck in 4th gear. But that happened this last race, so it's the end of the season. So yeah, 6-liter LQ9 T56 trans, 150 shot of nitrous. The whole truck's been built around what he wants it to be. It was a 2.2 4-speed auto when he had it as his first truck, and he's completely redone the truck. He's trying to hit 10s in it. It's got a cam. He just put the cam in it. Otherwise the motor's untouched besides the camshaft that he just put in it a couple months, like this summer I think, or maybe this spring, something like that. And yeah, we've taken it to the track. Well, he's taken the track a bunch of times. I've recorded a couple of them. His goal is 10s with it. He's ran 11.4, I think, is his fastest. And definitely gonna do a lot more footage or a lot more content with that truck because I love recording it and I know people love watching it. Just going to these random street races with him is just a whole lot of fun. So I'm definitely gonna keep that truck on the channel and record the process of that. Future plans with it, I don't really know if he's got any future plans. I don't know what they are. All right, the last 2 trucks that I'm gonna talk to you guys about, these are the last vehicles I can remember that are on the channel. They're both owned by the same person. Marty owns them. The first one is a 2012 GMC Sierra Duramax 2500. It's a Denali. It's got intake and exhaust and a PPEI tune on it, 150 over. Makes about 550 horse. He ran a 14.0 flat. Hasn't done anything to it since. To run the 200 over tune, he needs a lift pump, and I think that's his next plan, but I could be wrong. I don't know if he's going to do the lift pump or not, because he can only run the 150 over, but if he does do the lift pump, no doubt in my mind he can easily run 13s. All right, so the last vehicle that Marty owns is a 1976 square body, 4-inch lift, big block, 454 big block. The frame has been sandblasted and painted, TH400 trans, 205 T-case, Detroit locker with 410 gears, 4-barrel carb, aluminum heads, ceramic headers, B-cool radiator, all that kind of stuff. So it's gonna be a built. It's a K20, so it's 4-wheel drive. It's a nice truck. It was a nice truck when they got it, and they're just completely redoing it. It was just a 350. If I'm correct, it was a 350 motor in it, and they pulled that, they're putting a 454 in it. The cab and fenders and box and all that are gone off the paint, so the frame is fully done and built and sitting in their garage or waiting on the cab and fenders and all that kind of stuff to be painted and then drop it on. And I think after that, it's literally gonna be ready. The motor's done and ready to run. It has ran. So that's what the square body is. So that is all the vehicles on the channel. If I missed anything, or if I missed a vehicle that you guys wanted to see, or if I missed anything on the vehicles that you guys were interested in and knowing, or that I forgot to mention, let me know in the comments below. Hope this answers some of your questions on the show and all the vehicles on the channel. Those are the vehicles I'm gonna keep. I'm not. I guess if you want to know, I hope to buy a car either next year or the year after that. So after this truck is done being built, I'm saving hard, and the plan is to buy a 99 to 02 F-body Camaro and do a street build on it. That's what I'm saving up for after this truck is done. I'm upset. I'm obsessing over buying a car so bad, and that's what I really want, is one of those. I've always loved those cars, and I just want to build one so bad. That's a street car. So expect that in the next couple of years. But otherwise, stay tuned to the channel. All these vehicles will be being worked on here soon and having content on them, so just stay tuned for that. If you want to see any more specific content on other vehicles, let me know. I'll make some videos on it. But otherwise, hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next vlog.